You know you want to study abroad, but you are not sure exactly what goals to set and how to achieve them? I'm your host, Sabrina Small, and this is the episode of the Out of Your Comfort Zone podcast, where we discuss all things study abroad. Today, we're tackling the ultimate leap, setting goals for studying abroad. How do you actually set goals to get there? And more importantly, how do you meet them without burning out before you even pack your bags? I'm so excited to be here today. We have amazing alumni from our CIEE high school summer abroad programs. So alumni, thank you so much for being here. And let's get started. Introduce yourself, what state you're from, the program that you went on, and what was one memory that you had from abroad that you will never forget?
I can start off. Hi, my name's Kenneth. I live in Florida and I attended the Tokyo, Japan high school summer abroad trip. And I'd say my most favorite experience was definitely hanging out with my host family.
I can go next. So, hi guys, I'm Winnie. I'm from New York. I'm from New York City, and I went to last year's Chinese language in Shanghai language and culture program, and one fantastic memory I had was wearing the traditional Chinese clothing, the hanfu. So fun.
Nice to meet you both. I'm Virginia. I'm from New York as well, and I studied abroad in Dublin, Ireland, and I studied social justice in Dublin, Ireland, correction. And one memory I have, or I guess my favorite memory, I'm gonna say spending time with my friends at Highlight, which was our student living campus, and all the funny things we did there.
Hi, I'm Savannah, and I think that's so interesting that you went to the social justice program because, like, everyone I meet has gone to the language one. But I did Spanish language and culture in Madrid, and I think I'm from New York City. And the most fun thing I did abroad was one of our program trips where we went to Valencia, and like the plaza was just so pretty. It was just like ultimate vibes. It reminded me of the Caribbean where I'm from. So yeah, it was just really fun.
Oh, Savannah, where are you from?
My mother's Guyanese and my dad's Jamaican.
Very nice. I just came from Jamaica. I actually studied abroad in Jamaica. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had. That is awesome. Hi, Amelia.
I'm Amelia. I'm from New York, and over the summer, I was in Toulouse, France for language and culture. And one of my favorite memories was when my roommate and I got left behind by the bus, and we had to figure out how to get the trains all by ourselves to this like castle outside of like the city. It was so beautiful and it was so cool.
Ugh, I love that, Amelia, because those are kind of the times that you really learn how to use the language because now you're on your own. You have to figure out how you're getting that train. So was that moment somewhere that you learned how to speak better? Like it put you in a crunch?
I think so. It also helped me like get better at communication with like the adults that I had to like let them know like, oh, we're running late because our train didn't end up coming. So now I have to like figure out, and I'm from the city. So like obviously I'm more comfortable taking trains. So like I like got us tickets. I made sure like we knew the timetable. I like got us into the city and then we like walked by ourselves like all the way up to the castle. It was really great and I felt really independent doing that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, everyone, thank you so much for introducing yourself and telling us about your program. So we're here today to discuss study abroad and also how do you set goals for study abroad? So the first question I want to ask and pose to you all is, just take a second to think back to the application process, right? The application process can seem long to some students, right? We want to debunk some of those myths. So how did you manage the application process? Did you set a goal for yourself? What did that look like for you?
Wow, I know for me at least, when it came to the setting goals part of the application and applying for the scholarship, this obviously might not be everyone's case or circumstance, but since social justice is something I'm so passionate about, the goals were there for me already because there's something I consider my core values and who I am as a person. And I really just wanted to be able to take this program and learn to hone in on that and really gain the resources to take my advocacy and passion for social justice outside of my community and be able to like spread it on a global scale, like see what it looks like in a different part of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, Virginia. And so when it comes to the application, do you remember like did it feel long? What part of the application did you find easy? And did you set goals for like you applying to study abroad? Or what did that look like?
Well, setting the goals for me was a must. I'm a very organized person. And honestly, CIEE's like setup on the website made that like easier for me. Just to kind of organize things. One of my I'm trying to it's a while ago, so I'm trying to look back.
Enrollment coordinator, maybe? Is that what you're thinking about? One of your enrollment coordinators?
Yeah, I did have they were very helpful. I believe his name was Jesus, and he helped me out a lot. What else? The application process for me, it took a bit. It took like a couple of weeks because I wanted to make sure everything was perfect. But with like the help that CIEE provided and my family and kind of having pre-established like my goals, it was good. It was good.
For me, I would say I first found out about CIE around like the start of November, and then their early action deadline was around I think the end or around the start of December. So I really wanted to get that done for the early action deadline because I heard it's a lot better to be prepared for when if I actually got accepted, like financially wise and also like other things. So for my process, I got the I applied for the scholarship and the other one, I think it was like the academic one, and that gave me like 3 essays, so I knew I had to like get a lot of stuff done during that time. So just having like I wanted to get it done by December 1st, so just like putting more of my focus onto those essays, which I found like pretty easy because I just picked like one topic or one goal, and then I made my essay about that or like something very passionate I'm about and put that into my essay. So I found it a lot easier to finish my essays in time. And yeah, I'd say the application process is just very easy. And once you have a goal and you really want to go on this trip, I'd say it gets like it goes pretty quick.
Yeah, awesome. You actually touched on a couple things that I want to mention. So, Virginia, you mentioned that our application is super concise. It's all on one page, so it kind of makes it easier to apply. So, I'm really glad that you noticed that. And then Kenneth, you applied um by deadline, right? So, I'm sorry, by the early action deadline. And usually the first early action deadline is a free flight raffle. So, we incentivize students to apply by that time because we would love to give students a free flight raffle. So, Kenneth, that was amazing that you applied by then because you were entered in the free flight raffle and you kind of gave yourself a peace of mind, right? Because not only were you applying for a study abroad program, you're in school, right? So that's awesome. I love that you mentioned that. That's really great. So anyone else, what did the application process look like for you? Did you set goals?
It was similar to Savannah, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll just go ahead.
You go.
So yeah, I think it was a bit because I'm the type of person that like I do everything at the last minute, but definitely studying abroad is something that's been a dream for me and my mother since I was really little. So like the enthusiasm about it definitely gave me a lot of motivation to like push through and definitely just get it done. But I also didn't just want to get it done. Like I wanted to put passion into my essays and I wanted it to be clear to whoever was reviewing it that I was very passionate about what I was doing. I've been speaking Spanish from a young age. So, like that's something that I want to pursue in college and everything. So, like, this was the perfect opportunity for me. And I really didn't want to mess it up. So, I think that that was definitely my number one motivation was just being like, these are people that might evaluate, like, because studying abroad is also such a big opportunity to do and to have set for college. Like it's very, very good on your transcript and whatnot. So like there were so many things going through my mind that I was like, I literally can't mess this up. And that was a really good motivation because I did it. So
Yeah, I can go. For me, it was I was trying to get like the academic merit scholarship, so I had to apply before like the free flight raffle and all that. I'm a big procrastinator, so my mom was really like the one who was helping me push forward. But for me, it was also just I'm taking AP French this year, so I really wanted to set myself up with like a fluency of like conversation that I wasn't sure I had because of my class. And so that was really like the reason that I was super motivated to like get it done.
Awesome. Yeah, Amelia, and it's so important that, you know that about yourself and your mom was there to help you. That is so amazing. Yeah. So I love that you know that too, right? So in the future as well, you need an accountability partner and that is okay, right? That is awesome. That is so good. What about you, Wenny?
Yeah. I do relate to Kenneth about the whole like, wait, sorry, I lost my thought. Wait, I remember like something like, yeah, if you're passionate about something, I think someone also mentioned it, like sorry, uh, Savannah, yeah, you also mentioned it, and yeah, I really relate to you guys about that. And I just wanted to add like a tip for people who are applying for like the scholarship or the academic like enrollment thing. Really start early, like as early as you can. There's a reason why CIE like starts like kind of like advertising in the September, so you can actually like kind of get your like minds and like goals going. It does take a lot of time management, and maybe you also might feel like, oh, this might not be the best for me, but I still like encourage you to just write it. You have to give yourself some time to actually think, to make your essay like as good as you can, especially if you're maybe the types that kind of procrastinate a lot or like just don't know how to write, which is not a real thing. But anyways, so yeah, you should like really take your time and just like work on the essays and all that. And even if like after you submitted it and you got enrolled and all that and you don't want to go, it's okay to decline. Don't feel bad about it because someone else might want to go, so you just give them a chance. So this is really a win-win situation if you are able to just like yeah, manage your time well.
Oh, Wenny, how did you read my mind? That's what I always used to tell students. I used to say, okay, finish your application. Let's see what happens. See how much, if you're applying for the scholarship, let's see how much scholarship that you get. And then you can make your decision within 1 week, and there is no repercussions, right? So it's like I would always tell students, never take yourself out of this race without knowing if you can do it or not, right? Don't make a decision based on the price right now. Wait until you actually know. So that is a really good point. But I did want to clarify for everyone watching, we do have two types of scholarships for our high school summer abroad programs, and those are the Global Navigator scholarships, which covers between $500 to 100% of your tuition. And it's based on your parents or legal guardians' financial information as well as essays and a teacher recommendation and things of that sort. And then we have an academic merit award, which covers $500 of your tuition costs. And this is also based on essays and your transcript and teacher recommendation. So really amazing. But yes, thank you all. Thank you all for just touching on a little bit of the application. That is a huge part of your study abroad journey. But let's move on. Let's move on to post trip, right? You are accepted to CIEE. You know that you're studying abroad. You know where you're going. You're excited. You're going to China, France, Ireland, Japan, right? So what are your thoughts? What was your first thought? Did you have a goal in mind at that point?
I, for one, just remember when I got the email from CIEE, I was at my abuelita's house, sitting down. I forgot what I was eating. No, I remember I was eating. I was eating tostones, and I had a Dr. Pepper, and I was drinking it, and I remember I spit it out, and I started freaking out, and then like my abuelita, who's like very like overly like cautious about everything, she's like, no, you can't go, you can't go. My mom was like, no, you're going, and I'm so happy you got in. I just remember being in like awe, and I had so much excitement and just like shock. And once I had gotten in, I remember CIEE gave advice for fundraising, to basically pay for your flight. And my sister and I started saving up money. And she's actually currently going through the application process right now. So who knows? Maybe she'll be tuning into this podcast.
Oh, I hope so. That's awesome. So you were kind of a role model for your sister. Look at that. That's amazing.
For me, when I got my acceptance, it was actually the week of my birthday, so that was actually a really nice birthday present. And then I told my mom, like, wow, mom, look, I got accepted to the program. And then she was like, wow, really? Which one? And I was like, Tokyo. And then she was like, how much scholarship money did you get? And because that was a really big part of her thing to actually like let me go on the trip. And she was like, and I told her, she was like, wow, that's actually a lot. So she was like, fine, you can go. And actually, and also the same thing, like when I got accepted, because it was early action, that actually gave me a lot of time to save up my own money to help pay expenses for the trip, for like flights and like my own souvenirs. So post application, I was like just really jolly and everything, and that gave me a lot of time to prepare for my actual trip.
For me, it was like I was super excited, but my mom, she's a college counselor. So, like, it's like we've been doing programs since I was like 12 or 13. So, like, an acceptance to her is like, okay, like, duh, like, of course you're going to get accepted. Like, there's no emotion there or anything. So, when I got accepted, I was so excited. I was like, mommy, I got in. And she was like, okay, yeah, great. And like, no expression. And she was like, how much money did you get? I said, oh, I got this amount. And she was like, that's not too much. And I think that it was because I didn't apply early action, but it was a bit stressful for me and my mom to get the money together because I wasn't working back then. But I'm just super grateful to her and to my family because I remember that like I know this is her dream too, but I know it's her dream because she wants me to be great and she knows that this is the best thing for me. So like I think the enthusiasm from my part, it was just her like assuring me in a way because I feel like that's more motivation for me to make myself a bit more confident. And I was just really excited and I was so happy of how my family showed out, like Virginia said, with fundraising. We started GoFundMe's. I was asking my school, like I was all over the place trying to get some extra money just to be able to bring back my family some souvenirs and to, you know, make everyone who donated to the cause, I guess, just as happy as I was that they cared about me that much. So yeah, it was like it was a bittersweet feeling, but more sweet than bitter.
Amelia, what about you? Do you remember when you were accepted and did you have any specific goal going in?
For me, I got the acceptance and I was really nervous because it was gonna be my first time away from my family for like any like duration of time. But my goal was really like gaining more independence of my own, and like being able to do things for myself, and then also just like progressing in my French learning.
So it looks like everyone, well, most of you were on language and learning
I think
programs.
Wendy had something to say. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, Wenny. Jump right in.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I feel like I had like an opposite like problem or like version of getting the application, like post application from Savannah. My mom was the one who's more overjoyed, and I was just kind of mid about it. Like she was also even the first person to like actually saw the email and was like, "Oh, you got this much money, you should go." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I can go." And I also like relate to Amelia, like how I did also feel a little nervous on the trip. So my goals were really actually really financially based, surprisingly. My first goal, ironically, was to ask my friends what do you want from China? Because the Chinese currency is it's like one US dollar is like seven like yuan, like RMB in China. Yeah, in China. So for me, that was like a lot of money. So yeah, one of my first goals was to just spend more money for the trip.
Yeah, why not, right? You're in a new country. You want to bring your loved ones souvenirs. You know, I get it. I get it. That is a really good goal. Yeah, awesome. Okay. So a lot of you went on language and culture programs. And Virginia, you can speak to this towards your social justice program in Dublin. So, what goals did you have for the specific programming, right? So, when I think of language and culture programs, I think this is what I think is that students might be like, maybe I want to get as good as I can in the language while I'm there. And then for social justice, maybe for you, it was, I want to learn how to advocate better. So just tell me, that's my thought on it. Just tell me what your thoughts are on it. What was your goal going into the specific program that you were going into?
For me, like for I think for Japan they had like a lot of options. Like I could have chosen like anime or like robotics, but I chose language and culture because I just wanted to know the language. Like I want to know how to communicate with them Japanese people because I do wanna do something in Japan that relates to medicine after I graduate. So I really think this the Japanese language culture would really be like, do I really want to do this in Japan? Do I really want to start my life in Japan? So I think like getting accepted like really helped broaden my horizon and like see if like I really wanted to do this. So it's just like a jump start to what I wanted to do.
I have a quick idea. So everyone, if that who did language and culture programs, can you say something after what you tell me? Something in the language that you learned, Kenneth. It can be anything,
Okay.
but tell us what you're saying.
Okay. Oh, I'll just greet myself in Japanese then. I'll
Okay.
be like, Konnichiwa, watashi no namae wa Kenneth desu. So yeah, like my name is Kenneth.
For me, um, it was very it was like far from home, but not because, like I said, I grew up learning Spanish and stuff like that. So I was very much, I'm from Queens in New York City. So everyone's Hispanic, like literally everyone. And it depends where you live, but I went to school in East Elmhurst. So, like, my entire middle school was just full of Hispanics. So it was very easy for me to adapt to that. But I didn't know anyone from Spain. I hadn't met anyone from Spain until I got to high school. So I think that learning the difference between or the difference in culture and the difference in like society in general and how things work in a European country compared to Central American and Hispanic Caribbean countries was really interesting to me, and it was something I wanted to explore because I had never had any attraction to Europe before. And I actually started like the application process wanting to go to the Caribbean, so either Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic. But it was just definitely something that was important for me to one strengthen my Spanish because you never to in my mind you're never fluent. Like you can always learn something more. And also just meeting new people, experiencing new societies, like learning about different governments because I'm an international relations major next fall. So that's something that I wanted to explore a bit more outside of what I already knew. Like, that's why I say it was home, but it really wasn't because, it's a different type of culture and society, but it's the same language and that's what connects them. And in Spain, what I learned, I think, okay, so when I say all the time, I usually like before I was saying todo el tiempo. Like that's how I would say it. But in Spain they say todo el rato. Or they would call also like the weekend, they call the weekend el fin de. And I used to say the whole phrase like el fin de semana. So I learned that too. And then I got back and my Spanish teacher who's from Spain was like, oh, that's really Spanish. And I was like, I got you. So yeah.
Very nice. No, Savannah, I think that that's so interesting that you're talking about that because it's so valid, right? In every Spanish speaking country, they speak a little bit different, a different accent, different words mean different things. So, like you said, there's always a new phrase you're gonna learn. So, the topic of pretty much what you said, right, is like you're always learning no matter what. I love that. I love that. Awesome.
Okay, I can go next. So, wow, I think I'm relating to Savannah a lot. I also already had like some background knowledge of my language, Mandarin, before going on this trip. And the reason why I decided to just study abroad, even though I am already familiar with it, is to just kind of visit China again. Because I was originally going to plan on visiting China in like 2020, yeah, 2020, but COVID has happened and then I just never got a chance to, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to just kind of go back and just immerse myself just to see like a like maybe like a change in like the years and all that. And one of my other goals, I think, it was just gonna explore Shanghai because I've never actually been to Shanghai before. I was when I was like younger, I was actually in Fuzhou, like just like a province in China, but I just thought it was like a close second. So yeah, and I think it was like pretty fun and all. And I remember in CIEE for like the language and culture like programs, you had to take like a STEM test assessment to just kind of like yeah like to test like what level you are so far. And for the China one, we had to like had like a small interview to just prove that you didn't cheat on your test or something. And then my interviewer like asked me like what's something special about like your school, and my answer was escalators, but then I just like forgot what escalators meant like at the moment, and then I just had to say it in English. Thankfully that wasn't like that bad to like lower me down a level, but now I know what it is. It's 电子楼梯. Well, some people might say it differently, but that's how I say escalators in Chinese.
Oh, that's interesting. Can you say it again? I missed it.
呃电子楼梯. It just means yeah, escalators.
Very cool. Very cool. Thanks, Winnie. Amelia, what about you?
Virginia went. So yeah, I'll go. For me, it was just like I really just like wanted to like get better at French. But then like when I was there, I've actually like now decided I want to go back to get my citizenship because that's the thing that France is offering now is if you study there for a year, you can get citizenship. And I think that's really cool. And I would just like love to do that. I want to minor in French like in college. So for me, that's like something that was really exciting that I got to learn like while I was there.
Very nice. So you set a goal to learn the language and you got better. And now, so question, so did you know that you wanted to minor or major in French before you studied abroad, or did that come about once you did study abroad?
Really came after because before I was like really nervous. I'd had 2 really bad years of French where it was just like messy with schools and stuff, and that was my first year where I was taking it more seriously, and it was like a third language for me, so it was like harder to balance. So I really like fell in love with language while I was there.
Very nice. Virginia, what about you? You did not go, right?
No, I didn't. So a goal that I had set is
Yes, like according
okay.
to your program, like what was maybe if I rephrase the question, what was one of the reasons you wanted to do social
Okay,
justice? What did you
yeah, of
want to get
course.
out of it?
I really just wanted to get more knowledge regarding social justice and advocacy and really get the tools to like bring it back home to America where I felt we really needed that advocacy and speaking up. Um, and yeah, I think Ireland was the perfect place to do that because of their like beautiful and rich history of like the underdog rising up, you know. And yeah, I unfortunately I did learn some Irish, but I don't quite remember it. But I know Spanish, so that's enough. I think I one language under my belt is good for me, but I'm like so like in awe of you guys because Spanish for me is rough, and I'm Puerto Rican and I'm no sabo, so it's rough. It's rough. But yeah, you guys are amazing. Studying social justice, it came easy to me as if it was a first language, if that's a comprehensible metaphor, because it's just like in my blood. But yeah, what I wanted to get out of it was just knowledge, tools, more passion, and something I wasn't even hoping to get out of it, but I did was friendships. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a loner. I'm just gonna go there and keep my nose in a book at all times. But I came home with a lot of friendships. I think is an important part of CIEE, and I'm so grateful for them for all that they've given me with that. But yeah, that was not a goal I had, but something I got out of it. So yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. No, Virginia, that's amazing. I'm also Puerto Rican, which is really cool.
I see
Yeah.
San Juan behind you, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Be there."
I will never change it.
Yeah,
But yes,
no.
very nice, very nice. And that is, so maybe you didn't know that that was a goal. You didn't know that that was something you were going to get out of your experience. But friends, right? Friends
Yeah.
are really important in life, right? Creating connections, meeting new people, talking to different people from around the country. And what I love about CIEE, and I know that all of you can testify to this, is that in your cohort, right, there were people of all different ethnicities that spoke different languages that came from many parts of the US. So, um, you know, maybe it was a goal for all of you to make friends and new connections. Can some of you speak to the new connections that you've made from CIEE?
For me, I did say that one of my goals was to make friends, but I honestly thought I wasn't gonna make that many because I like didn't know what it was like gonna be like going into a whole different country. But I will say I did make a lot, like 100 times more friends than I expected to make because I don't know, it's just like everyone just being in a whole different country and they all just like love the country and the stuff and they all just want to explore it together. So that just like really helped like make a lot of friends. And I will say that they CIE did like open a Canvas course, group chat types things, and everyone can just like connect and just like make friends earlier. And that's how I actually made a lot of my friends that I still talk to today, which is like making that early connection before our trip and like just expressing our love, like and our we just wanted to go to Japan, you know?
I relate to that so much because, at least me personally, in my own school, I always kind of felt like an outcast in some ways. Like a lot of times, like something about me, my character, my moral compass is way too powerful for my own good. So when it comes to social justice, I have a very strict line, like you have to be passionate about these things and you have to care about these things. Like, oh, why aren't you advocating for this? And kids in my school are kind of like, well, that's across the world. And I was just like, ugh, I need people who are on the same level as me when it comes to these things. And I guess I really didn't even consider that a factor or a possibility. But when I landed in Dublin, I was so pleasantly surprised because, as Kenneth said, all these kids are passionate about the same things to me. We found this shared liking and love and passion for social justice. And similar to you, Kenneth, once again, piggybacking off of what you said, I see one of my friends who I met in Ireland every weekend. And yeah, so.
Amazing.
But yeah, no, it truly is you're gonna make some of the best friendships ever. And I remember when I was presenting for CIEE within my school, people were someone else who had attended CIEE said that they had seen their friends, they fly out to see them. My friend from Iowa, whom I met during CIEE, she flew all the way out here to the city, and I spent time with her and my other friend from Westchester and my other friend from Brooklyn. So we all hung out. But my one friend from Brooklyn, I see him every weekend. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, I love to hear that. I love to hear that.
I can go next. So, honestly, making friends isn't one of my goals, but I feel like that just comes naturally. I think this applies to anyone. Um, for me, all I did was just talk to people in my class because they put you in different classes based on your first name, I think, or your last name. I kind of forgot. But if you just open yourself up, be open-minded to others, maybe even those who have different skill level, your language skill levels if you're in a language culture program. You get to meet a lot really unique and unique individuals. And yeah, I bet someone who I believe is from Ohio. I'm not sure, but they're Filipino, and it was really interesting to learn their fashion because they have a certain type of fashion that they wear to school every day. I thought was pretty interesting, and then they helped me get more into interest in fashion, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, making friendships goals or not, I think you should just be open to others.
Awesome.
France, there were a lot of people who were like my age. We were all kind of juniors. And so we've kind of all been flying across the country to see each other on college tours and whatever. So I had two girls come in from LA and they stayed with one of the other New York girls, and then we all met up in Brooklyn and we like went thrifting together, and that was really fun. And I have midwinter break in February, so I'm planning on going up to Boston and I'm going to meet up with some people who live up there.
Nice. That's so amazing. That is so, yeah, connections are really one of the most amazing things, and that is definitely goals. Um, yeah, I'm so glad to hear that you're connecting with all of your friends from abroad. That is great. Savannah, what about you?
Yeah, for me, I found making, or I think it's because I'm not as an intentional person when I make friends, because I just grew up like, I guess like I don't want to sound cocky or nothing, but I think it's my energy. Like I'm very welcoming. I'm usually very bubbly, so like I think a lot of people just are attracted to that type of energy. And I'm usually just making friends very easily, but in Spain it was a bit difficult, and like I wasn't putting myself out there, so I can't really knock it, but I think that once I like realized, oh my gosh, like I have to actually like start talking to people, like that made me a bit scared because it's a completely different demographic. Like I feel like for example, my Spanish language and culture program was it was diverse, but it wasn't like I'm black. So I'm very used to being around very different demographics of people. Like I can be around many different people at once and not have an issue. But since I've been going to a school lately, which is majority black, I think I kind of lost those social skills of like code switching to different types of people, or not lost them, but I think that they've depleted a bit since I've been in mostly black spaces for the past 3 years. So I think just like recognizing that the demographics were different and trying to accommodate myself to that was a bit difficult on me. But eventually, like I made a close friend, but she lives in North Carolina, but we haven't been able to see each other. And that was pretty much like, other than my roommate, the closest friend that I made, because I definitely wasn't like pushing myself to go and talk to other people. I did make like acquaintances and people that I really appreciate. I spoke to many different people, and I was really appreciative for Misión Ñeñe, which is like our segment where in Spain we do a thing every day where we go to the community and we ask people questions, and we talk to people outside like Spanish natives. And actually I rebut everything I said, because I made one of my closest friends to this day through our Misión Ñeñe. We went to a local school, and in that school I met that girl, and we went to the mall and everything. Like she's one of my closest friends to this day. I don't know how I could forget about her, but yeah, like I think that was the biggest connection. But within my program, it was a bit difficult for me. And I think with that friend that I met, she's Afro-Colombian, so her being black, just like me, was a big thing that, like you may not say it to yourself, but not seeing people who look like you all the time, like missing that representation, I think is really important. I mean, it's something that I can survive with, but I didn't notice how much that it impacted me until I met her. So yeah, I think connections are important, but I still functioned in Spain fairly well. I had a really good time by myself, and I learned a lot about independence and about just being okay with going to see Museo del Prado by myself, and to go eat churros con chocolate by myself. Like there's no problem with being a solo traveler. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Savannah. That is so important. And I love that you said that representation absolutely matters. I 100% agree with that. And I'm also really proud of you, right? Like you were able to, yeah, definitely. I'm so proud. You were able to recognize that about yourself, right? And I think that when you're able to recognize, first of all, that's what study abroad does for everyone, right? You are able to recognize something about yourself. And that's what life is about. That is truly what life is about. But I'm so glad that you were able to make a friend who's Afro-Colombiana, which is really amazing. So cool. And yes, you are right, right? Connections matter, and you did put yourself out there, but you also like to be alone, and that is okay. That is totally okay. I love that. I love that. So let's move on. Let's move on to, you are all seasoned travelers now, right? What is some advice that you would give to the students who are coming in to study abroad this year? Your biggest tips, anything that you want to get off your mind. I'm so super excited to hear what you have to say.
For me, like my biggest piece of advice is because it was my first time traveling like outside the country, and it's the first time traveling by myself too at that. So I would say my biggest piece of advice was just like don't sweat it. Like don't worry too much about everything. Like no, I'm not gonna make friends, or like no, I don't think I like packed enough of this. Like I think for friends, you should just like go in and be yourself, just because being yourself is what's gonna make you the most thoughtful connections. And then for like just packing and traveling, like just don't worry about that. Like pack the essentials and don't pack too much because that's what I did. And then I had to like get rid of some stuff because I was like, oh shoot, I did too much. Like I overpacked. So
You
yeah,
have
I'd
to
just say
leave
like
room for
I
souvenirs.
know. Like I had to like buy an extra bag fee because of that. It was like it was getting too much. So I would just say like just prepare yourself, prepare your mind, prepare your brain, just be like more ready and just be ready to socialize.
I would say literally put everything away as soon as you step in the door. Like you can appreciate the home and how beautiful it is, but that was the biggest thing that helped me navigate throughout the month because I'm not a very organized person, but to an extent, like everything's where it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? And I was in this, it was a smaller room, even though I was very appreciative for it because the window was so beautiful and the view was so nice. But it was a smaller room and I had a roommate, and once one got messy, both of us got messy. So like I would just say pack everything away immediately. Even if your roommate hasn't packed everything, don't hassle them. Don't make them feel bad about it. Maybe help them pack because once everything is away, first of all, it's going to make it feel homier. It's going to make it feel like home faster. And also it just saves you the extra time. Like I just remember for like maybe 3 days, I was just jumping over my roommate's suitcase trying to get to the bathroom so we could hurry up and get ready to go to class. Which I love her. I love you, Riley. It's no shade. Definitely I did that for a little bit too, like just having everything all over the place. It kind of like messed up the morning flow, and that's not how you want to start your routine. And for friends and like the environment, I would say just put yourself out there. Like make sure that you're I was about to say disposable, oh my gosh, available to everyone around you. Make sure you're talking to your professors. Oh my gosh, that was a big thing for me. I mean, I have had friends, but every single person on the staff was like my best friend. Like literally it didn't even feel like it was an absence because I was so friendly and so close with my program site leaders, with the people in the office, with my professors, with my group leaders. Like everything was just so perfect how it was set because CIEE, or at least in my program, I don't know if everyone can agree with this, but it really did feel like homey and like not everyone was just here to get a job done. So I feel like the site leaders, like they apply to these programs for a reason is because they love doing what they do. And it made it so much more easier to connect with them on a deeper level. And I would say don't work too much. I did regard studying abroad a bit at the beginning as like kind of like a vacation. And I think that's what messed me up because when I stepped in class for the first time, I was like, whoa. Like I wasn't expecting all of that information to be packed in one day. And like it wasn't rigorous, but I would say just be prepared to remember that you're still a student. Like you're not just on vacation. People have paid for you to be here and to learn and to experience more. Like of course there's learning in every single part of your day, but just appreciate the assignments for what they are. They're always teaching you something more. You're still there to be a student, even though you're there to be a friend and to be a tourist and to be all these things. So just appreciate your studies as well.
I can go next. So, my advice, which would kind of contradict this whole podcast, is that it's okay if you don't meet your goals or that your goals have changed over the course of the program, because mine certainly did. So like for example, I think one of my goals, yeah, that I mentioned earlier was that I'm going to buy some like souvenirs of my friends. And as the program goes on, like sometimes like maybe the product I just couldn't find it, or like it's like impossible to bring it home. Like for example, one of my friends wants me to buy them a bike part, and yeah, that's just like unrealistic. And yeah, I think it's okay if like you just can't meet your goals sometimes, because you're like again, you're just here to have fun. You're not like this is not like just like summer school basically. You still get to have some fun and just like take a reliever. So I would also say just don't get caught up with like just like, oh, I need this to be done. This is like a life like opportunity thing. I just feel like if you let yourself go, that's a more like accomplished feeling rather than just completing everything off a checklist.
Wendy, quickly before anyone else goes, I love that you said that, right? Sometimes we set goals and we don't meet them, and that's okay, right? You set a new one or you set a different one, whatever that means for you. As long as you are, like you said, on your experience, enjoying yourself, learning, right? Like Savannah said, keeping things at the forefront, your goals can change on study abroad, and that is absolutely okay. Not contradicting this podcast because you can change goals anytime, anytime.
And I want to go back to what you said about like making really good friends with like all the staff who worked there. Because for me, I didn't fly in on one of the group flights. So like I was meeting all the like staff members after most other people had already gotten familiar with them. Um, and that's a big thing. I really think that the group flights like help you make friends. And so I am a little bit sad that I missed out on that. But it's okay because the program leaders there were great. All the local staff, like Nicole, she was like one of the main program directors there. I love her. I miss her very much. And then like all the program leaders who are in charge of your classes, who are in charge of like the excursions, they are so nice and they just really want to be there and they really want to like help you. And I think that's a big thing to remember is like they're there to help you and it's really important to like take advantage of that. If you need something, like you should always be going to them to talk to them.
I agree 100%. Like, if I could give any advice, it'd be like, don't sweat it and to focus on what you said regarding the program leaders. They're amazing. They're trained for this. They're so accommodating. I'm not sure if you can tell. Well, you probably can because of my inability to stay still for like more than 3 seconds, but I have ADHD and they were just like so helpful when it came to that and understanding. So shout out Noah Curtin, shout out Anthony, Phoebe, Penelope. Like, I miss them dearly. I love them with my whole heart, and they're honestly, if you can count them as like friends, they are friends I made along the experience. But yeah, I also didn't take the group flight either. So I started the journey independently and I went home independently. But that's also something to not be afraid of. Don't be scared of being alone. View it from the lens as I have an opportunity to be independent and to learn new things. And honestly, in that alone time and even time spent with my friends, one of the best, most valuable things I learned from CIEE wasn't just like the history and tools. It was like I learned like a lot about myself.
Awesome answers. Awesome. That is so exciting. So I want to thank you all for being on this podcast. This podcast is really helpful to our new prospective students. So you just gave them really grand advice that is going to be so valuable to them. And we really appreciate you for that. And as our amazing alumni of CIEE, we wish you all the success in the world when you are all thriving in your careers and in college. Never forget us. Send us an email with what you're doing. We're always so excited to know what you're doing as alumni and just keeping you in the loop with us. And I want to say a big, big thank you and ciao.
Thank you for listening to Out of Your Comfort Zone. For more information on high school study abroad programs, visit ciee.org/global navigator.